Hello, Jan. Hello?
Jan? What a relief. We thought we'd lost you.
Yeah, so did I. The base got caught in a huge sandstorm. And I lost part of my crew.
What? Your altars? How could you let that happen?
Simple. I let you sweet-talk me into all that biological vessel business. Unfortunately, they had a problem with it. So, they decided to go their own way.
You mean they ran away? And they're exposed to radiation?
They took the exploration vehicle. And some supplies.
Tell me not all of them left?
No. Why?
The ship is close, Jan. You have to be ready for the arrival of the rescue team.
Ready? How?
They can't find out about your altars.
What? Wait a minute. Aren't you the head of mining operations? Aren't these your people?
They might answer to me, but their paychecks are signed by Ally Corp. And if you confront them with your altars, they will have to react. The board will not tolerate anything that could cast even the slightest shadow on the legitimacy of this operation. And the rescue team is on their leash. Do I have to spell it out to you? They will have your altars killed.
What? That's ridiculous. It's not like I trust the corporation unconditionally, but they're not cold-blooded murderers.
Of course not. Just experts on crisis prevention.
So you lied to me. That you'd prepare them.
I told you I'd test the waters, and that's what I did. But there is a lot of pressure on your success, Jan. A lot of anxiety amongst the top management. They can sense the vultures hovering around them, waiting for any sign of a slip-up. And they won't let them smell blood. They won't expose themselves.
So what exactly is your plan?
The rescue team will arrive shortly before sunrise. You have time until then to come up with a way to smuggle your altars on board. In the meantime, you need to keep collecting rubidium.
Yeah, sure. And once we take off, what happens then?
You will all go into cryosleep. And as the ship approaches Earth, Lucas will take remote control over it and modify the coordinates. The ship will land in a secluded location I've been preparing.
And what about the crew?
They'll be in cryosleep during the landing. And by the time they wake up, we will be far away. I have a lab ready, and a guarantee of immunity from people who understand. I'm moving operations to a more science-friendly region, somewhere Ally Corp won't get to us. And, most importantly, where nobody will ever find your altars.
So, you're really doing it? You're going rogue?
I won't sugarcoat it. We've come too far together for that. If you wanted to hate me, I probably gave you enough reasons by now. Truth is, when I first heard about you, your situation, I'd be lying if I said it all came together immediately. On the contrary, I didn't hope for much. An accidental castaway with no qualifications, all alone, burdened with such a responsible task. But when Lucas told me you did it, you created your altar and managed to convince him to cooperate with you, I couldn't help but fantasize about where this could go. Can you see? I've been waiting for something like this ever since they shut down Project Ela.
Yeah, about that. I heard some disturbing things about your experiments. Is it true your patients... well, that they lost their minds?
Of course. That was the whole point. They were losing their old dysfunctional identity to gain a new, sound one. Whoever told you this must have heard some scraps of information and didn't have a full understanding of what we were doing. Yes, they were unorthodox things, but it was always about making people better. Project Ela was my whole life, Jan. Why would I devote myself to something harmful?
You never stopped dreaming about reviving it.
You wouldn't be so surprised if you knew what we could achieve.
Lucas told me you wanted to help war veterans, patients with PTSD.
Yes, that was the initial scope. But we could have done so much more. But take, for example, the possibilities of re-socializing criminals by altering the experiences that led to their corruption. But why not go even further? Why should we limit ourselves to thinking only about altering the past? Why not be able to influence the future?
What? How?
The Tree of Life. You've seen yours, but it's just a projection, a rudimentary interface. Think about it. What if it was no interface, but an integrated part of the human mind, allowing us to live our lives exactly the way we should?
The way we should? What? You mean, make the right decisions?
Exactly. The human cognitive system enhanced in a way evolution failed to do in millions of years.
Wow. That sounds... completely unrealistic.
I prefer the term difficult, but Rapidium can help make it so much easier. Imagine a world where nobody ever takes the wrong turn. Children are never harmed. There are no court misrulings because there is no crime. Greedy and corrupt individuals never come to power, and because of that, wars never break out. Can you see now why your success meant so much to me? Do you not understand that giving Rapidium away for any other purpose would mean robbing humanity of its biggest evolutionary leap since we crawled out of the primordial soup? Do you still think there is a better purpose for your altars than to contribute to all that?
I'm not their owner. They're people in their own rights. I can't decide their fate for them.
That's very noble. But in a way, you've already done that when you created them. Look, all I'm asking is several weeks in a lab where I can run some tests on them, collect data, and prepare for the bigger leap.
And then what? Let them walk free?
You know I can't do that. It would be too risky for both of us and for them. But I could guarantee them a comfortable life. They would be hidden from the eyes of the world.
Imprisoned.
The only alternative for them is to be disposed of by the corporation, like waste. I think you need to take a breath. There's a lot to think about. How to smuggle your altars aboard that ship, for one. But first, you have to guide their navigator to your exact position. They'll need you to mark the spot with a beacon. Start with that, and then I trust you'll figure out what to do next.
Yeah, sure. By the way, I wasn't an accidental survivor.
What do you mean?
The quantum computer chose me. Seems I was the one who had the biggest chance of making it.
Well, doesn't that just prove my point? We are capable of so much more than we think, Jan. All we need to do is open the door and let that potential in. You'll hear from me again before the ship lands. Good luck, Jan.
Should I do this now?
Those rocks, they're shaped like trees. What are they really? Tire tracks. It must be the tour vehicle. At least I know which way they went. Detectors and cargo left. Maneuvering here must have been a nightmare. Happening to me.
blocks look like they collapsed recently. There's definitely something on the other side, but I can't drill through here. Okay, this looks promising. Light. Almost there. Is that a shelter? There you are. You okay? Huh? Seriously? That what you want to talk about? I thought I'd never see you again. You got some guts to follow us all the way down here. Don't you get it? The party's over. I got the impression you wanted me to find you. Oh yeah? And what gave you that impression? The light? Why else would you bother with it? It's not for the rescue ship, is it? I wouldn't have made it through the sandstorm without it. Yeah, well, I was pissed at you, but leaving you out there to your death, I'm not that guy. You're going to die if you stay out here any longer. Anything's better than serving as lab-grown meat for Maxwell's experiments. You're right. It was a mistake to trust him. I learned some disturbing things about his project. To be honest, the man is starting to scare me too. Oh yeah? Tell that to Tabula Rasa. Your mistakes actually have consequences for others. Admitting to them won't take that back. So, you really want to stay out here? How do you intend to survive the sun? In the tour vehicle? Are you kidding me? That thing is good protection against radiation, but it won't withstand the sunrise. Only a proper shelter will. And this place provides the perfect terrain for one. So that's what you're building. Yeah. And it's no picnic, so why don't you get back to your base and just let me get on with it? That's a really stupid idea. You'll never make it on time, not without the infrastructure, supplies. Well, that's not your problem, is it? Don't you have better things to do than hang around here and waste my time? 'Cause you're right about one thing. Supplies are short, so let me just get on with securing them. Can I get you anything? I don't want any help from you. Just go, okay? You're making things worse.
I'm done here. Should I do this now? Jeez, I packed a lot of stuff. I'm done here. Should I do this now?
found our rebellious party. They're alive. Looks like they have no bad intentions, just want to be left alone. What for? To die in that exploration vehicle? They're building a shelter. Oh, please, spare me the details. They should be putting those skills to use here, helping us, not making a sophisticated grave for themselves. Quitters. I thought you'd like to know that I ran into a completely new kind of anomaly. First thing that came to my mind was that it's some sort of a prism distortion. Really? What gave you that thought? Well, it behaved as if the reality around me suddenly split up into many different fragments. Wise of you to bring it to me. Any observations on interaction? Well, it didn't seem to do anything specific to me physically. No radiation. But it sure was messing with my brain. It felt as if I was in several different places at once. In a way, you might have been. Huh? You mean? Remember how I told you that anomalies are places where our world intersects with the interworld? Well, what you're describing suggests a distortion in which it comes into contact with not one, but many proximity planes. Entering it is likely to evoke a sensation of being in several parallel realities at the same time. Calling it a prism is accurate, because it refracts your consciousness into many simultaneous states. Neat. Who needs altering, huh? Take it easy. It's just a sensation. You'd best not spend too much time inside them. Plus, I suppose it must make exploration very inconvenient. Can I destroy them like the others? It should be possible. You just need to locate all of its cores and take them down one by one. All right. Thanks for the tip.
Are you still in need of supplies?
What?
Well, I thought sharing is caring, you know? Oh, man, you just don't give up, do you? Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Yeah. I gotta say, I might be able to swallow my pride just this once. It's gotten really tight. You're not a minute too early. Look, I've been thinking about everything you said about Maxwell, and you have every right to be afraid of going back. But staying here is suicide. And if you came back, well, maybe we'd have a chance to think of something to keep you safe. Think of what? Sacrificing someone again? Like you did with Tabula Rasa? No, Jan. There's one thing Pops taught me, and that's that people don't change so easily. Oh. Heavy blow. It's just a fact of life.
Listen, man. We're not going back. Nothing can change that decision. We're staying here. We just need to finish building the shelter.
Only a few more things, and maybe we'll even be able to call it home. Man, I'm telling you, it's madness.
Yeah, story of my life. Like I said, no going back.
Yeah, but if you're serious about this caring shit, I admit there's one more thing you could do to help. Shoot. See those pylons over there? Took quite an effort to put them up. I got a list of resources that could really speed up preparations. If you happen to have any of these to spare, maybe you could just connect your infrastructure to these pylons and, well, send the goods over. You make things a lot easier. That big yellow son of a bitch is really making us sweat. Just saying.
before you head out, make sure you have all the important equipment.
You came back. Yeah. I still don't approve of what you did to Tabula Rasa, but I thought it through. You still have a chance of making it. And I'd be a fool to not at least try to get on board, knowing that Ben is out there somewhere. It's too important to me to simply let go of.
Okay, yeah, that's all very nice, but you do know you can't contact him once we're home, right? It will be too risky for me. For all of us.
Of course. I know. Don't worry.
Good.
Welcome back. Thanks. You can count on me.
Hey, I found this. I brought it on this mission, but thought that maybe it could mean something to you too.
No way! On my old skipping rope. So you did want to get back in shape.
Yeah. I thought that I'd be bored enough here to train regularly.
If I remember correctly, buying it was my first attempt at working out. Did I fail? Yes. But it was a start. Thanks, man. a nice day.
Should I do this now?
Why is it so important? Looks like a waste of space, to be honest.
Rubidium is unstable. If we tried to transport it without the Ark, it probably wouldn't withstand the journey.
Huh, damn. So much work for nothing.